Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the July 7th, 1984 edition of the Mid South Wrestling Review. And the Midnight Express basically are going to face the Pretty Young Things, kind of avenging the need for the mask and obviously a masked man. Standing with Jim Cornette obviously ends up being, I believe, uh, not the original deal here. Anyway, the Pretty Young Things, Norvell Austin, and Coco Ware are your adversaries for the team there. And I think it originally ends up being Hercules Hernandez, who was under the Wrestling 2 mask in that particular occasion. Obviously, Austin and Ware end up rolling around. They are a African American tag team who are of note through the end of the year. Pretty intense individuals and useful guys. Ware obviously goes on to be a bit more notable. Takes down the benefit for the benefit of Dennis Condrey. Condrey works the arm pretty aggressively and kind of hanging on there. And then we see the Pretty Young Things making regular tags. The Midnights are known to bump around, and this is no sidestep there. Cornette upset on the outside because the Pretty Young Things are a relatively new team who are outshining his team. Dropkick under the chin by Coco Ware and Norvell Austin. Austin, probably the more known, although doing the majority of his work in Memphis. That's where Coco started as well. Actually, Coco Ware, during the uh, early 80s run, is probably one of the better guys that are here. Anyway, in terms of just athletic bumping ability, and the cutoff by the Midnight Express, tag off to Bobby. Bobby daring enough to wear the white pants, bumping all around off the hot tag. Norvell Austin manages to get several drop kicks, and the referee goes down with a crunch by one of them. Cornette also gets hit for his trouble. Midnight's managing to break things around, and in fact, it is Hercules Hernandez who is under the Mr. Wrestling 2 mask in street clothes as well. Hans Schroeder against Dr. Death Steve Williams. Williams still continuing his foray into the heel ranks of things. That is not going the way that he wants it to go by any stretch of the imagination for a variety of reasons. We kind of see, it is Dr. Death who is kind of, I guess, going to be the next, I wouldn't say full leader, but certainly a guy who happens to be a guy who is moving things, I guess, towards a leadership sort of role in the territory, especially over the next year, 2 years, through the end of the Mid South run. And this run is part of that. He manages to use power stuff, tackles the leg, gets the kind of single legs. Obviously, gets the collegiate wrestling style as well. Coming from that background, you know, turning him heel might not have been. I don't even really know. Would I say it's the best move they've ever done? Probably not. But at the same time, at this point, you need extra heels. You know JYD is leaving. That is always a rougher go of it than imagined when a major star leaves. So there may be some benefit to, kind of going in that direction there. And it's a interesting challenge from that perspective, as my computer reminds me of a alarm I had set. Anyway, it's an interesting thing there. Same alarm multiple times, and now something for work. So I will quickly jump along and be back in two shakes of a lamb's tail here. And again, we kind of see that Williams is being portrayed as a guy who needs to be taken, I don't want to say super seriously, but seriously enough. And he ultimately is a guy that they build a promotion around, especially with the return of Akbar closer to the end of the year. Not that I'm giving spoilers away. We are obviously there. And if you are looking for coaching, just useful information, just search Golden Opportunities Coaching here on the benefit. And the only reason I say that, manager, coach, who knows. Anyway, gotta get some cross promotion. Want to expand in 2021 for sure. Anyway, so I mean, Williams is dominant as one would expect him to be. The continuation of the dominance of Steve Williams should go without saying in the area, and he kind of hits the Oklahoma Stampede. He is going to eventually turn heel. His feud with Terry Taylor, some would say, is a backward step, but it is what it is. The Fantasticks against Dale Vestry and Bob Brown. Lots of Browns in the wrestling business. Greg Brown, Bob Brown, all sorts of Browns. Anyway, Brickhouse Brown. Anyway, but so Vestry and Brown are here. The Fantastics, of course, Rogers and Fulton. And they, again, do not last very long in the area. I think there was a plan to bring them in and do more with them, but it just didn't work. Or maybe they're just passing through. They end up doing more in this time frame, mid 80s, in the world class area. They do come back to the UWF area of things. High cross body and Rogers is pretty aggressive, assertive in the early stages of this particular contest. Head scissors take over, and they're working the head for several minutes here. Meanwhile, Rogers takes the early part of the match. The heels cut things off. Try to get a takedown. Doesn't get all. They do not get all that they want out of that. Deep arm drag, and ultimately the short knee into the spine of Bobby Fulton doesn't lead where he wants to go either, to be completely honest. And some tag offs, Irish whips, and big power slam. 1, 2, 3, and the Fantastics get a victory in really quick order. Sonny King, who had been jumped by Buddy Landell in the weeks past, against Buddy Landell here next. Landell even, I guess, entrenches himself even further into the area as a heel with the onset of, within the next couple of months, Bill Dundee as Booker. But here, King kind of takes him over. Arm bars, arm locks, and the like. Take down into the front face lock. King, not a guy that you really need to go out of your way to see, but does kind of come across almost like a Tom Shaft of world class at the time. It's interesting to me that we've hopefully come further, that racism isn't as big a thing in wrestling, but you'd have a couple of people of different racial background. The majority of wrestlers Caucasian, and you'd see the non-traditional or the non-specific, non-Caucasian individuals get an advantage early and manage to get a push for 6 months and then move on to somewhere else, is about what it seemed like. Anyway, kick to the midsection by King, and then he kind of rolls through with the front face lock. They actually spend a good bit of time on the canvas, and meanwhile, Buddy Landell does the chicken beg off, and then we see Butch Reed make his way out with a steel chair. Obviously, the jumping out of King to commence, and again we continue that. And this time, though, King gets a little bit of revenge as he grabs the chair from his adversary. Hercules Hernandez, I believe, in his first official match in the area, as a big guy, and ultimately ends up aligning with Jim Cornette. He calls out just about everybody, says that he is not going to take any sort of backward step. He's the strongest man in the area. He needs a challenge, doesn't know where challenges are going to come from. Hercules Hernandez in this era of 84, 85, 86, probably the best of his career through about 87. Back elbow by Hercules, looks to be $1,000,000. Also a little bloated, to be completely honest, overly muscular. Hip toss by Hercules, and he's dominant throughout. Al Jackson? I believe it's Al Jackson. Taking the majority of the punishment here, and obviously Hercules ends up hooking in a full Nelson along the way, ends up using several clotheslines and getting as much of a advantage as he can. Big power slam, almost like the Oklahoma Stampede, only without the buckle bump. First, gets the victory. Steve Bryson against Ernie Ladd is up next. Ladd again has come back to the area wanting a shot at Magnum TA. Hasn't gotten it fully yet. Continues the challenge in the pre-match here, calling out the announcer and asking for better competition. Bryson is a guy that has been an enhancement talent. Not exactly the type of competition that Ladd would want. Ladd had been given the opportunity to have a 2-on-1 match prior. Ladd goes for the single leg crab, doesn't get what he wants out of that. Bryson gets hit with several forearms and the like, really basic stuff. Shot under the chin. Then we see several more shots by Bryson along the way. Kick right under the chin by Ladd. Ladd manages to hit several shots there, almost smothering Bryson with the shots that he is giving, and big boot by Ernie Ladd along the way. Ladd with a leaping leg drop and gets the victory here. Next, Crusher Khrushchev and Rick McCord. Rick McCord eventually becomes Austin Idol. Khrushchev, obviously, former television champion, big guy in the area, big name in the area, and certainly takes as many challenges as he can get there. McCord tries to and does scoot out of the way of whatever adversarial stuff is there. He's through the legs, trying to get an advantage in whatever way he can. Slides through. McCord still trying to find himself as a talent. Khrushchev buries the knee. A couple of drop kicks by McCord to topple him. Stun gun type maneuver actually catches him across the midsection with the stun gun, which is a little different. Usually it's across the throat. This time it's a midsection. McCord, though, does take good bumps for his adversary, and driving the knee into the spine is Khrushchev. Khrushchev hits the shots to the back of the neck. Kicks by Khrushchev, and again, we kind of see that go upside down. McCord manages several punches along the way. Kick under the, I guess you'd say under the chin a little bit. Doesn't get everything he wants. Big clothesline though, and a big body slam by Khrushchev. Khrushchev pulls him up and manages eventually to go for the another body slam, followed by the hanging backbreaker for the victory there. Special look at Magnum TA in a music video type situation. Then we got an interview with Crusher Khrushchev. Khrushchev basically calls Dr. Death a thief, says he wants his medal back, the television championship medal, even though technically it doesn't belong to him. It belongs to Terry Taylor. That has not been officially decided yet from a match standpoint, so that is there. In any event, that will close us for this particular episode in July. We'll be back with more right after this.